InTheRingBoxing.com.
What's back? Showcase.
What's up, fight fans? Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the InTheRingBoxing.com Prospect Showcase. For this month's showcase, we have on the line with us today undefeated middleweight prospect Thomas Falowo. Thomas is 4-0 with all 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Fights out of Providence, Rhode Island. And Thomas, it's great to have you on the Prospect Showcase today.
Thank you, man. It's good having me. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Well, let's get the fight fans acquainted with you and your background. How'd you get started in boxing?
I started. I went to an amateur show at Boletto's gym in nearby. Where I'm from, Providence, Rhode Island. And once I saw it was Demetrius Andrade and his brother Mike Andrade. Once I saw them play, I saw an amateur show there, and I was hooked. And there was a gym right around the corner from my house, Middleweight gym, which is where I'm from. Actually, I'm from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, but yeah, I went right around the corner to the gym, and I've been ever since.
You know, just to jump off topic on the interview for a second here, you mentioned Demetrius. He fights this Friday against Grady Brewer. What do you think about that fight?
That's going to be a real good fight. It's interesting because it is a major step up for him, but I have a lot of confidence in Boo, and I've seen him do. I've seen what he can do, and I've been in the ring with him. I fought with him lately, so I know firsthand what he can do, and I think he's more than capable of pulling out the win against Grady Brewer. Looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So, getting back to you and your career, but jumping back to your amateur career, what was your amateur career like? Did you get a lot of experience in the amateur rankings?
Yeah, I had a good amount of experience. I never really won. I didn't win any national tournaments or anything, but I did compete. I competed in the Junior Olympics. I made the Lake Placid there, and I've done pretty good around New England. I haven't really made it too far. I was there. I fought in Lake Placid, Maine, and I fought a lot of top fighters. I fought Russell Lamore. He was a top 5 fighter in the country. I won one. I lost a couple to him also. I fought Marcus Brown. I fought a lot of the top amateurs in the country. I got a lot of good experience and had about 60 or so amateur fights, maybe a little bit more.
All right. Well, Thomas, how would you describe your fighting style?
I would say I'm more of a pressure fighter. My style is one thing I'm known for out of everything, is that I'm in shape, and I like to apply pressure and that effective aggressiveness, like a busy fighter.
Okay. So you have a good trainer in Peter Manfredo Sr. What would you say is the key element that Peter brings to the table, you know, in your training?
In my training, one, keeping me focused, but two, it's keeping me sharp. He's been working on like I said, I'm a pressure fighter, and he's able to get me to be able to use that aggressiveness, but to channel it and being able to box. So I'm able to throw a lot of combinations, but I'm able to box and use my distance and know when to throw the right combinations. So that's something that I feel like he's played a major part in.
Okay. You fought 4 times and you knocked out all 4 of your opponents. So I'm sure with every fight, your confidence is probably building up with every fight. But what was the experience like stepping into the ring as a pro for the first time?
For the first time, I was a little nervous leading up towards the fight a little bit, but the closer it got towards the fight, I really wasn't that nervous, actually. I was surprised how calm and how comfortable I was, actually, for my pro debut. I went in there. I knew the guy had a couple more fights than me, so he had a little bit of experience, but it was just an adrenaline. It was pretty similar, but it was just the boost of adrenaline and the boost of awareness. I felt like my awareness was raised as a pro. Being in there with no headgear, being able to see more, your awareness is higher, your adrenaline's higher, and I was able to do what I had to do.
All right. So as of right now, do you have anything lined up? When can we see you in the ring again?
Looking forward to the next CES card, which will most likely be early November, late October. There's not a 100% set date, but it's looking like the early November. But I'm not 100% sure exactly when, but I'm looking to get in there as soon as possible. So the next CES card, please leave him on it.
All right, we're looking forward to that. And Thomas, what would you say is the most difficult thing about being a boxer?
Most difficult thing, I think just staying focused is difficult. I'm trying to think about that. Hold on, give me a second.
Well, let me give you some traits or some challenges you gotta, you already know, but I'm gonna just put them out there for you, and you tell me which one of these you think is the hardest. The training,
okay.
The mental aspect, keeping the weight down, actually being in there and doing going to war. What would you say is the hardest out of those? The politics, the business. I know you're just getting started, so yeah, you may not have much experience yet, or you haven't have any trials and tribulations with the business side of it. But out of all that, what would you say?
That does seem like one of the toughest things, because the training is very hard, and even though it is hard and vigorous, it's fun to me, and I still enjoy doing it. I like pushing myself. I love competition, so the training's tough and the fighting's tough, but I love competition so much that it drives me. And the business aspect is one thing that I really don't know much about, and I'm starting to learn a bit about it, just sitting down and talking to other fighters, talking to my trainer. That's another way to help me and be kind of a mentor to me, is to school me to that aspect of the game. And it's a work in progress, but that is something that I am feeling like I could use a little bit more in, is the knowledge of outside the ring about how the pro game is.
All right. Do you follow the sport closely? Outside of what you do in your career, are you a hardcore fan of the sport?
I am a fan. So yeah, it's my favorite sport by far, and I keep up for most of the upcoming fights, and I think I keep up to date with boxing.
So, who would you say are fighters that you look up to now, and fighters that maybe you looked up to when you coming up?
Overall, since I started boxing, my favorite black fighter by far has always been Bernard Hopkins. And one, because he's a skilled fighter, it's just the mental aspect of the game that he brings. He's very disciplined, he's very dedicated to the sport, and he's just mentally a smart fighter. Like the Kelly Pavlik fight against even Taylor, a lot of his fights, those are the later fights that I've seen live myself, I could see him mentally pick apart an opponent and being able to just tactically box on, just not even just physically, but mentally be able to break somebody down in the ring.
Right. So is that something that you think maybe eventually you like to bring into your fighting style? I mean, I've seen you fight, and then like you described, you're a pressure fighter. You come forward, you try to press the action. Bernard is kind of picky with that, depending on his opponent. He can get cagey in there, his tactics. He's got these tactics that it may seem dirty to some, but I could just call it old school. But is that something that is that a style that you would want to try to incorporate into yours?
Yeah, I like to incorporate it into it. Overall, that's not really my style of thing, to sit back and wait and to counter. I'd rather be the one to get off first, and I would like to be able to box a little bit more, which I feel I've progressed with over the course of my fights. My first fight, I kept a lot of pressure, and I was on him, and then gradually I was able to still keep that pressure, but I'm able to box more with that pressure. Effective aggressiveness, not just aggressiveness. So that's something that I want to be able to do.
All right. What position would you like to be at in your career a year from now?
A year from now, hopefully I can get at least about 5 more fights or so, 5, 6 more fights in a year. So it's to be 10, 11, and 0. The knockouts, I'm not going to chase them. If they come, they come, and they've been coming so far, so we got a good start. But my main thing is to be 10, 11, and 0, maybe step up to 6 rounds shortly, in the very near future, maybe in the next fight or two, and then move up to 8 rounds. And we'll see from there.
All right, Thomas, is there anything you'd like to say to boxing fans before we close out?
I'd just like to say I appreciate all the support and appreciate all the love, and look forward to seeing a lot more from me. Thomas Falowo from Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 404 knockouts, and I'm ready to keep them coming.
Okay, fight fans, that was the undefeated middleweight prospect, Thomas Falowo. Keep an eye out for him. Thanks for tuning in to the Prospect Showcase. Don't forget to go to InTheRingBoxing.com for all of your latest boxing news. My name is Cruz from InTheRingBoxing.com, telling you to stay cool and educate yourself. Peace.